What is up, you guys? Here's the Swift Ninjax bringing you another Call of Duty Black Ops 2 gameplay/commentary, and today I'm going to be bringing you an interesting story about my first BJ. Let's get started. Okay, so this, for the record, is kind of a strange story. Kind of weird how it happened. It was a normal thing, but then, I don't know. So I'll just tell you a story. Alright, first I had this girlfriend, right? And me and her had been dating for about a month, probably. And I was in 8th grade. So what is that? That's on the range of 12 to 14, depending on if you failed, if you went to school early, or if you're just regular, which I think is 13. I'm not sure how old I was. But we were just kind of okay, let me give you background on this girl. Okay, she had the biggest boobs. I just want to tell you guys that. They called her, big booby, whatever. No, not big booby. They called her, big boobed. No, did they? No, big titty, and then, her name started with a T, and I'm not going to tell you what her name was. But, yeah, so she had some huge boobs. They were, D cup in 8th grade, which is ginormous. And she wasn't fat, because I don't date fat girls. No offense to any fat girls. But, so, yeah, those were just natural boobs, and they were amazing. But that is not what I'm talking about right now, even though they were amazing. So me and this girl would just kind of hang out after school, and we would just talk, and we would do things. And most of the time, we would just make out, and it was in school. And we never really hung out that much outside of school, but in school, every day after school, I would be going to tutoring, and, we would sit in the library or sit in there was this one spot there were two spots that didn't have cameras. So if we were ever going to, make out or anything, or actually there's 3, but we only used 2 of them, we would go there. And I had fingered her a little bit here and there before that, but I never really got anything on my skadoodle. Alright, we're just going to call it skadoodle. I don't know where that came from, but we're going to call it that. So, this was kind of a different experience for me, and it was amazing. For her first time, and for my first time, it was amazing. No, there was no teeth involved. Even though it was her first time, she seemed to know what she was doing, and that was a great thing. So she was just naturally gifted, and I'm probably sure that she's probably a slut now. I mean, she was a nice girl at the time, but after that, over the years, she kind of increased into more of the slutty phase. So she's probably a prostitute or something now. So maybe I started a prostitute's career with my dick. You never know. But anyways, so me and this girl would kind of hang out a lot after school, and we would do things. And one day, it was her birthday. And I was like, well, what do you want for your birthday? Knowing what she would want. She'll get fingered, obviously. So she was like, well, I'll just see you after school and we'll find out. So I saw her after school, and we just started by making out. And this whole episode took about 15 minutes. No, about 30 minutes. About 30 minutes through this whole thing. So there's this little corner on the edge of the school that had no cameras or anything. So we would go back there, it's hidden, but not hidden enough. And we would go back there, and we would do our thing. And we started doing our thing. And I was like, okay, what now? And she looks down, and her pants are already unbuttoned for me. So it was really easy to just slide it right in there, and not my dick, but my finger, to finger her, which I actually did a pretty good job, apparently, of that, too. And it was that wasn't my first time, but I had done it. That was my first girl to do it with, and I'd only done it maybe 4 or 5 times. So, I guess that I'm naturally gifted, too. But anyways, so then I was kind of running low on time. I was like, alright, well, is there anything else? And she was like, stand up. And so, I stood up. And she just, pulled down, not pulled down my pants, but you know how, just the front part, and she pulled that down, and she pulled out my dick. And, of course, I had a boner, because I was in 8th grade. I couldn't control what I was feeling with my skadoodles. And so this is not the end of this gameplay, by the way. There's a little two-part to it. But anyways, so she pulled down my pants and she put it in her mouth. And I don't want to get too graphic with this, but I'm just kind of explaining a weird story, and it'll get weird here in a second. So first off, it's in school. We're in 8th grade, so that's kind of weird. But so she did that for about 10 seconds maybe, and it felt amazing. Well, then all of a sudden you hear this door open, and it's like a hallway, and then there's a little corner part, like you turn and there's just like this little corner, and I don't know what it was for, but it was there, and we heard this door open, and so she was just like started flipping out, and she just kind of like shoved it back in my pants, and this teacher walks by, and if we would have gotten caught, we would have been in so much trouble. We would have gone to, maybe military school, I don't know, but we would have been in tons and tons and tons of trouble. So we almost got caught, but it was a quickie. I was in 8th grade, and it was just a crazy experience for me. We never did it again, and we actually broke up. Maybe we would make out and stuff. But I never got another blowjob again from her, and we would make out maybe how many times? Maybe 5 or 6 more times. And I fingered her maybe a couple more times. But we never had enough time to give me another blowjob. So, this gameplay is pretty much coming to an end right now. That is my story of my first blowjob. If I get 100 likes, no, not 100, because I'm low. I don't even get that many views most of the time. If I get 50 likes, I'll make one of my first kiss. So, like if you like this video,